Hello everyone, this is Eric, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of The Scarlet Letter, a Korean erotic dramatic thriller from 2004. Our main character is a homicide detective, played by Han Suk-kyu, who is intelligent and has animal instincts. His wife, a classical cellist, is submissive and seemingly perfect. Meanwhile, he's engaging in a passionate affair with his mistress, a sultry jazz singer at a nightclub, played by Lee Eun-ju. He lives a double life, moving back and forth between these two women, who also happen to be schoolmates from high school. Now one day, he arrives at a murder scene to help the investigation of the crime, and there he meets another woman who is accused of murdering her husband. Now early on, this detective's like singing opera music while he's driving in his car, joking with somebody on the phone, I think, about the dead body that was found at this murder scene. You know, the victim was beaten to death with a hard object. Meanwhile, a woman's walking the streets all bloody and injured, and we soon find out that it's the wife of the murder victim, and of course she turns out to be the primary suspect as circumstantial evidence points right at her. So we have this cocky detective who has kind of a careless, free spirit attitude, and some very serious behaviors like infidelity and murder he does not take very seriously. You know, he takes them very lightly. So it feels like our protagonist is like, I don't know, I guess skating on thin ice, I guess you could say, and that theme kind of extends throughout the entire runtime. The mistress subplot, at first, seems kind of ancillary to the main story for much of the opening half. But if you pay attention to some of the details and how things are presented, they're actually parallels to the other two female characters. There is a bit of rivalry that develops between the mistress and the wife. I found this pretty interesting, though, because in many erotic thrillers, it's the femme fatale who seduces the cop, not a third, like, mistress character. You usually have, like, the cop's either single, and he's going with the femme fatale who may have murdered somebody, or the cop's married, and he's fooling around with the femme fatale. It's not usually, you usually don't have, like, that third mistress character in here. So it adds, like, a different dimension to your, like, erotic thriller template, and another additional layer to the story, which I liked. And eventually the mistress contributes some of the most compelling moments in the movie. So the main observation I want to communicate is that The Scarlet Letter it's a very impactful movie, and it pulls a 180-degree turn on you into kind of a completely different mood at a critical point in the storyline. So the usual structure kind of sets up, or this unusual structure kind of sets up a suspense sequence that will make or break the entire film for you. I have not seen this film in probably like 15 years, but there's that one scene that I'll never forget, and I haven't in the past 15 years. So whether you like that scene or not, there's no way someone is going to be able to predict the highlight set piece of this movie. I would say it's almost impossible. And that's a good thing, because that scene is still consistent with the characters and themes that were established and developed. It just develops differently from what a typical film would do. So I think it works. The overall film quality is good, performances are good, nicely directed, got some camera trickery, like the camera will show something that happened earlier without leaving a present location, you know? So if a dude's like walking around his house, the camera will turn and like the actress will be at a different table having a conversation with him even though he's not there, you know, and then the camera will shift back so that you're like, oh, okay, that was something that happened in the past. I like movies that show interesting ways of doing flashbacks or, you know, doing stuff like that. So it's good. At 2 full hours, runtime is a little bit long. It's a bit on the long side. Pacing is a little bit slow. There are a few intense moments, so be aware of that. Okay? I definitely recommend The Scarlet Letter, but some viewers may dislike that one scene that essentially defines the entire film. It was a fairly controversial film when it came out, which compounded with the real-life death of the main actress, Lee Eun-ju, which we've talked about a few times recently, which occurred within, like, months of this film being released. So because of these elements, It is a slightly risky recommendation, so I don't know. I think some people might get a little flustered with this. But if you want something a little bit provocative and spicy, I would definitely say check this out. I think it's on, it's available streaming on some very available websites. So I think it was on YouTube or Amazon. So check it out. It's good. And as always, I will see you next time.